Let's take you now to OR Tambo International Airport, where internationally acclaimed DJ Black Coffee is speaking.
The youth is to love themselves and believe in themselves first. A country is a big thing to carry as a child. I don't think you'll succeed if you start there. I think you need to start with yourself first and empower yourself. They say fill your own cup first, and that's one of my major things. I love doing things for people, but I love doing things for me. People who are close to me know this. Basically empower yourself first. Once you're empowered and you don't need validation from friends, from your country, from anyone, and you can stand on your own, then you can work towards making your country proud. I just wish, I was thinking about it on my way here, we created like clubs, for young dreamers. I even had an idea, I even saw it written in my head, like a dreamers club, where it doesn't have to be physical. It could be run through social media or WhatsApp groups where like-minded people meet and have these conversations and empower each other. It doesn't have to include money or anything, because what I experienced growing up young in Gangelizwe, in one of the most disadvantaged communities. I don't know now, but back then it was one of the worst. I didn't have people I could share dreams with. And thank God I was as resilient, but there's so many other kids like myself who weren't as strong as me, who need to bounce off ideas, motivate each other. I think as adults we all know, once you start hanging around certain people who are successful, who think like you do, you start thinking more successfully. And it would be nice to create such environment for the youngsters where they can reach out, and not for validation, but just to encourage each other and carry each other, So yeah, fill your cup first.
Sorry about that. As much as you're saying that, you're Black Coffee, and that's why we're here. You featured both massive international artists on your record, as well as artists who are doing massive things here locally, but also appreciated. How did you balance that? Music specifically.
With this particular album, I was very intentional about what the end goal was. I actually received so much backlash from the locals about how international the album sounded, which was something I was ready for. But I knew that I wanted it to sound that way. And going back to filling your cup first, I knew that I was happy with the album without anyone telling me otherwise. In the past, we've seen African artists always categorized amongst each other. Mm-hmm. Even in the biggest awards in the world, there'll be world music. And so we always are grouped and we always compete against each other. Even in Hollywood.
Including jazz.
Yeah, same. Even in Hollywood, you fly all the way to compete with Burna Boy. Mm-hmm. And that creates so much disadvantage for us because we also deserve the world stage. We also want to compete with the best because that's how we can also be better. And I was intentional about doing this album, fighting for that spot. So anything negative that was coming, that Black Coffee has changed, we are not the target market, is making people for white music because the song with David Guetta was playing in certain radio stations. I didn't care, because I don't make music for one person. I make music for all kinds of people. And So first, getting the nomination was the first tick, like that, okay, we see you. And even better that it was on a global recognition, you know, with the people that are doing what I do globally, you know, because it changes a lot for us as Africans, where we always compete against each other. And if you're gonna put people that have similar backgrounds, this has happened for years in this country, where we're all put in forum houses and everyone had the same life. And the minute one person goes up, the others pull them down. And that's what happens, you know, when you're gonna categorize us against each other. Then the Nigerian fans are gonna fight the South African fans, and then now it's an African fight. And the bigger artists are like living their lives, you know. And so the first nod for me was the nomination, and I was like, okay, I've won. Because I had an idea and a plan and a goal to do this album and make it appeal on that level. So I knew which artists to work with locally that carry the same goal, you know. I knew which artists would sound good on the album without it being called African, you know. And that's why, to answer your question, like why did I work with these certain artists locally? It was artists that I knew have the global appeal, and we have a lot of those. We just don't have opportunity. And what we lack as a country, as a continent, is just equal opportunity to present ourselves. We have everything. We are equal to every human being on earth. We just don't have opportunity. And I was fighting for an opportunity. And this Grammy means I was given one. That's what it means to me.
Sorry, Craig, I was trying to get your attention. Is dance and electronic music black music now?
No. I'm saying no because I'm always trying to preach this genre-defining thing in music. You know, music is for everyone, and not for any particular colors. You know, I'm black, but my main residency in music is in Spain. So how black is it?
Yeah.
You know, music is for everyone, and it doesn't matter if you call it Afro house, Afro tech, Afro soul. Music is for everybody.
Thank you.
You spoke about intention, and I think it's such an important word, and I'm hoping we can kind of stretch on that a bit later. But I saw a couple of more hands. Okay. Is there anyone else who's going to take a couple more questions before we wrap up?
Okay, Salim Davinisi from Newsroom Africa. I'll start with you, Black Coffee. Obviously, there's been a lot of changes in your life over the past year. You've spoken about how difficult life has been in recent months and in recent years. I just want to know how much of that has influenced your work and this particular album, and also about how much government support you attribute to your support.
Sure.
Which then brings me to my next question to the Minister. Minister, you've always received flack around how you show up during these times, when it's time to say congratulations, when it's time to say rest in peace. Is there something that you're going to do going forward to make sure that more and more artists get to this level? Thank you.
That last question made me forget the first one. What was the first question?
So your first question was around the influences around your life. And
I got it. I think there's a certain way I've decided like a long time ago to conduct my life. And the simplest way I can explain is how I separate my production work with my DJ work. When I produce music and make albums, I don't produce music to DJ in the club. It's a separate thing. When I DJ in the club, I don't have to play my own songs. Meaning my work and my family and any issues that I may be going through are also in a separate space. If you can somehow see the interviews that I may have done 10, 15 years ago, I speak about getting a Grammy. And obviously, for me to get there, I'm gonna go through whatever human beings go through. But it doesn't mean my goal is now deflected, or I'm gonna slack, or I'm gonna work towards whatever goal, and whatever that I go through, I don't need to use it as fuel to achieve my goals. So anything that I do, I kind of like create different environments around it. So whatever I'll be going through at the time, I deal with it separately. I don't let it affect my work. That's why I'm able to get on the plane, keep doing what I do. You know, in showbiz, they say the show goes on. You know, I keep the show going on. What's the second one?
He asked you about what governments have got.
Oh, it's the same thing. It's the same answer for me. I was talking to my son before I left. I left him there, and part of the celebrations that were happening, I had to play in a small club. Like, we invited a couple of guests, and so he was to DJ, and I decided to play with him. And when we were playing, the mixer had a broken knob, and every time he tried using it, you know, it made a funny noise. And so I told him, stop trying, you know, like, leave it. And I say this to even my other DJ friends. How I work is, if I walk into an arena and I'm about to play, and I touch a knob and I realize it's broken, I don't bother it again. I stick to the plan, because the people out there don't know that it's broken. They're waiting for me to do what I did last week in a different country, and they saw people were happy. They're like, we want that same magic. So I was telling this to him, like, if it's broken, just mentally, don't keep trying. Just use what you have. Because that's how we've come up as black people in this country. We've come up using what we have. And so I stopped, or didn't look much into anyone trying to bring me up or help me in any way, because I understand everyone is going through whatever they're going through. And it's also a culture that we unfortunately have as South Africans, where someone posts a picture, you know, and a lot of the comments are like, please give me your shoes. Can I have those shoes? I'm a size 9 too. Please give me that jacket. It's such a thing to just ask. There's no shame. And it's one of the things we need to teach ourselves to be able to do with what we have. And there's no shame in also going to knock at the minister's office when we need help, and he say, we're doing this program, we're trying to help so and so and so. But it's also so important to learn early, to empower yourself and work on your own, you know, and find a system that works with you. And so I've never really gone there where I'm like, oh, I'm so disappointed, the minister didn't help me. You know, I've learned over the years to just keep on doing my thing.
We'll take one last.
No, let me respond to
and before
what's your name? Linda. Well, Linda, this question we are asking, I'm glad you asked it. That the Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture is seen when celebration, and there's nothing wrong with that, or when artists have passed on, or athletes. There's also nothing wrong with that. But I think it's out of ignorance, generally, of what government does. Because It's people who do not understand that artists, we deal with them at the very local level through community art centers. And that's where we start. And our approach to the creative sector is scientific. It's evidence-based. We follow the South African Cultural Observatory, which is a research arm. And last week they were sharing with the nation the statistics. Our work, working under the strategy Mzansi Golden Economy, which actually affirms that creative economy is golden economy. We have a lot of support we give artists in this country in our cultural diplomacy program, the touring ventures, where we take multitudes of South African artists all over the world. We have what we call also Seasons program, which takes South African artists all over the world. The fact that people don't acknowledge that when it happens doesn't mean that the Minister of Sport and Arts and Culture goes to celebrations, as you say, and funerals. We have, over a period of time, assisted artists who have gone to international stage today. You talk of Tusumbi. It's just that we are not a megaphone to always, all the time, tell people, this time around, we've given this one and so on, including people who are criticizing government. And we've been able to expose some of them that they are getting millions from government. And we are clear on what we are doing, that from the community art centers, this we feed into the playhouses in provinces. And our program, through research, is undermining apartheid spatial development, because you would know you'd had Market Theatre here in Joburg, Durban Playhouse, Artscape in Cape Town, and the Free State Center. But we are getting into all other provinces. We have now that space and platform in the Eastern Cape. We have it and opened it last year, opened it in Northern Cape. We're starting in Limpopo and Mpumalanga and so on. So we are not really perturbed about that, except to know that it's ignorance, and we have to share with people what is it that we are doing. And we'll continue to do that. As I am speaking with you now, at the United Nations level, UNCTAD has acknowledged South Africa's arts and culture portfolio's approach on innovation through SACO, as I said. And they've noted that there's been growing cultural goods and services export internationally from South Africa. So if you want more, we'll give you more. But we are doing our best. In fact, it's you guys who would even say this past 2 years, the department has done nothing. You boldly say that, some of you. And I can tell you, seated here, that more than 64,000 artists in their pockets, they got money from government. This very department. Close to 700 million rands was pumped and invested into the sector. Now, when we say we created and retained 40,000 plus jobs during this period, and if that is nothing, then I don't know. If that is equal to attending celebrations and funerals, then I don't know what you are talking about.
Okay, we'll take one last question. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you.
Hi.
Please keep it brief. I'm
Yes.
still in Grammy mode.
Okay.
Like a lot of these other things are great, but
I understand. I'll be so good.
Thank you.
Linda Domasivana from ENCA. Once again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Just a brief one from me. What kind of father are you to your sons, and how do you motivate them but still keep them grounded? And to your mom, I don't think we've heard from your mom. I'd just like to hear how she's feeling, and obviously you're proud, but Just a few words.
I think I wouldn't be able to answer what kind of father I am. If any of my kids were here, I think I would let them speak. But since you want to hear my mom speak, I think she should answer that question. What kind of a father am I?
He is the best father ever. He loves his kids so much, and his family. We are our first priority. And how I feel about all this, I'm so shocked. It's so unbelievable. I don't know, I've got no words to explain myself how I'm feeling, because this is like a dream come true. I am so happy, that's all I can say.
Thank you.
I think I'm the dumb father.
You are a good father.
I think so.
And we appreciate your dopeness. Let's also just say that let today be the beginning of a much bigger dream, not just for you, but for all of us. We're very happy and excited to have seen the continent stand up. And Minister, I know you know this, and MEC, but I will say this, that our way out is the arts. That's our way out of all of it. The arts is what we need to uplift. The arts is what we are good at. The arts is what we know. We just need to master growing it, governing it, and using it as a connection, as a point of communication. It is by far the most important sector. And thank you all for proving that and showing that to us. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll wrap up at this moment. At this stage, we're going to ask that the family, the minister, and Black Coffee leave the room with everyone seated, please, just so there's no chaos and commotion, and then the rest of us will follow. Thank you so much. Good night.
All right, that's how that press briefing ends at OR Tambo International Airport.